Commence primary ignition.
Hi, my name is Margot Apostolos. I play Tokat the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina.
Woohoo! We're live with some special guests that look familiar.
Hello. Good evening.
Sarah, you're invading the network. It's awesome.
Oh no!
I am.
Multiple shows now. It's
Look out.
crazy. Madness.
Welcome to Thursdays. This is where I got my start. Girl, you're going to be hosting multiple shows soon.
No, definitely not.
Jeff, thanks so much for inviting us on.
Appreciate having
Well,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't want to do this solo. I would need to have somebody to talk to. I feel a little odd just talking about the show by myself. Oops. Oh, hold
Even
on.
though we might all do it sometimes, it's still
All
nice
right.
to have someone to chat with online.
Yeah, agreed. I've definitely been in this situation where it's just like maybe it's just me and Ashley, or maybe it's just me and Skip, and two people is a little bit harder sometimes, especially when you know each other so well, where it could just turn into like a very binary conversation. But three people keeps it interesting because there's always like a wild card to the discussion, and then there's also someone who can like keep tabs on the chat and what's going on. So it takes multiple hands to run this ship.
Yeah, definitely a benefit of having a few more eyes for sure. And even people that can click stuff. We're looking at you,
Yes.
Skip.
Yeah, seriously. With that in mind, the other people who can click stuff are out tonight. Spencer is at a work conference, so he's doing like his real job, which is also in the event planning space. It's why he's so good at like organizing all the events for the
There you go.
VCN. Like he's, it's like in his blood. And then Dave is on a well-deserved vacation.
Vacation,
so-
finally.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Failing at Star Wars trivia, apparently.
I was gonna say he's in a literal like different continent essentially, and he managed to find a Star Wars thing to do. If I were his wife, this is where I would bury the body, and at sea, right? Because it's easy. You don't find the body.
Tip it over.
The ship went to
international waters. Asylum. It's all good.
He did get to go visit Nick Malley because of the island that they ended up going to on the cruise, which I don't think was pre-planned. I think that ended up being like a rescheduled thing from the cruise line even because of some other issue, but I'm not positive about that. But they got to meet the Yoda man himself, or one of the Yoda creators for sure, which is very cool.
That's a positive upside of rescheduling stops is never fun on cruises. That's not enjoyable, but that's definitely a silver lining there.
Yep, very cool. Yeah, so it took us a second to go live actually on Facebook, even though you were able to initiate the stream for me. Thank you, Mark. There was some other issue, so we cut off the very, very beginning on Facebook, unfortunately, just a minute or so.
No worries.
And so now the people are starting to get the eyes on it, so that's good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, and on this show we have a nice long runway before we start watching the episode. We don't do the episode until half an hour in. So we
Also,
have time to chat.
That thing about the clicking the buttons and having more eyes is also required. So now I got to go. I forget that I let other people take care of putting the pushing the link on Facebook as well, because there is we're live on the Virtual Cantina on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we're not always easy to find on the Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page. So that's the other thing. So let me.
Yeah, you got to refresh to the new posts rather than most relevant.
They did this thing with StreamYard after we started using it, where we used to be able to post directly to the Facebook group, the Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 group, and after a little while, they changed the way they work with Facebook, and then all of a sudden, you can post to a page or an entity, but not a group for some reason. So we had done this whole thing with we have the Virtual Cantina Facebook page, which is different than a group.
Yeah.
And that's where we post to, and then we share it to the main Facebook page. And currently that is not happening. So let me go over there and share it. Here we go.
I was gonna say, yeah, it is kind of an issue sometimes trying to find the right link to get to the live stream, and we've had those problems in the past.
Yes.
We're doing, for everyone in the chat who's listening to our staff meeting, we are continuing this exact conversation in like 5 days, where all of the people who are being left behind in America, and by left behind, I mean me and Sarah and Bryce and a bunch
couple
of
others, Ashley, yeah.
We're going to be on air basically the entirety of Celebration, keeping the home fires burning with news and updates and you name it, and we have to learn how to push all the buttons.
Yes.
And make sure that we're
sharing our FOMO and our button pushing. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, the button pushing is weird because like I do it every freaking week and multiple times sometimes, and then I forget the stuff that I did last week for some reason. Or
we're gonna write a guide so that way everyone has it.
Good idea. Yeah.
But we should be.
We
should be on the Facebook page now. So let me sorry to interrupt.
Oh, terrific.
Okay.
Well, we've seen a couple of people in the chat. Red 5. We will talk panels before we get into the episode. And hello there to JB.
He's lurking.
Oh, he did sign up. Yay. I'm so proud of him. It's only because he doesn't have to work tomorrow. Normally, this would be this would be getting to be pumpkin time for him. Yeah.
And I'm hearing a rumor that JB may be among the support squad of Celebration Nightly News, etc. So the whole family's getting involved, which I enjoy. It's going to be raucous because the big kids are away. Spencer, Jeff, and Dave, all the heavy hitters. It's like me and Bryce are in charge. That's bad news for everyone. It's gonna be great news for us, but like we're gonna, it's the island of misfit toys running the show. So it's me, Bryce, and Ashley. I think is like the senior.
Tune in, folks. Who knows what's gonna happen? Be sure to join us next week.
It's gonna be us live on Twitter and nowhere, and not knowing why no one's watching. It's gonna be very bad.
It's happening. It's a zero. Why? I don't get it. Yeah.
I'm excited about watching tonight though, because I've been purposely avoiding Andor at the moment. Like I'm gonna do a tighter binge closer to when season 2 hits, because I want it like the freshest in my mind. But I've been watching the watch-alongs every week because I watch every program on the network. So I'll be driving home. I'll be listening to them talk about the episode while not watching the episode. And so I'm just catching the conversation, and I'm trying to remember what happened. I was like, damn, I have to go back and watch this damn show.
Yeah, it's a lot. We just had, I think it was middle of January was our most recent watch through. It was our youngest son's first time seeing it through. And our oldest is like an Uber fan. He had no idea. Like so much wraparound content, so many details, so many names. He's like throwing out things, and I was like. When I found out I was doing the show, I was like, okay, send me links to whatever it was you like read, watched, studied for Andor. And he was like, okay. And like blasted me with like 15 of them. So I was like,
there you go.
That's helpful. This is why to have kids, so we can put them to work. So Sarah, tell everyone the names and ages of your kids, because I don't think everyone in the chat knows, and I don't remember.
Oh, okay. My oldest is Ian. He is a junior at Iowa State, and he is 21. And my youngest is Tyler, and he is 19. Finishing up his first year of college here in Northern Virginia.
In college now, how'd that happen?
Wow.
I don't know. I really don't.
Crazy.
It must have been a time, because I am not anywhere near old enough to have kids that old.
Exactly. You were a teen. You were the first teen mom. You were on the first season. Yeah, good times.
Yep. So they're growing into their own Star Wars levels of fandoms, and it's very humbling. Ian has become an Uber fan of Thrawn, as well as Andor. And Tyler is still out there. He's my Rebels kid. He'll watch the animations with me, hands down. So
college is an interesting time, because in some ways they want to pull away from like maybe the animation because it's a little bit for the kids. And then as they get older again, they're like, no, the loop's back around, where they're like, oh, we're back to Rebels.
I'm waiting for the loop.
Want to be a grown up. Yeah.
Yes. I'm waiting for the loop. I'm waiting for the loop, because they're definitely firmly in the anything mom and dad like. We don't. And so like Andor is the last linchpin because it's the grown up Star Wars. So I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you, Tony Gilroy. Bring it on. It's helping me bond with my kids. So appreciate it.
This is what we like, the multi-generational kind of thing.
Third generation Star Wars on both sides. So we're the force is strong with our family.
So tell us about your parents and Star Wars.
Star Wars was my dad. All the way, 100%. He was silent generation, actually. My mom was a boomer. They were 13 years apart. And he was an only child. So it was a pretty interesting, she was fourth of five. So it was a pretty interesting dynamic between the two of them growing up as their kids. Children of the 80s, late Gen X here. And my dad's idea of watching the kids when my mom went out and, we were finally old enough so she could trust him alone with the children was plunking us down in front of A New Hope. So he was the guy who would go out and make illegal VHS copies of Return of the Jedi and would find the local VHS store that's going out of business and get a good copy of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, So we had all those growing up. When we were 5, 6, 7 years old, I could quote along with the movie and have no idea what I was saying. I was actually born the same summer as Star Wars.
Wow.
So, my mom was hugely pregnant with me when my dad dragged her to go see it, something she never let me forget. And she hated the trash compactor scene because as some people will know that when you are pregnant, you have a horrible, like, over sense of smell. And she was like, I thought it was smell-o-vision. She's like, when they were talking about the smell, she was like, she had to get and leave the studio. She was like, oh no. So it took off when we were really little. And then we kind of got away from it and then came back around to it around middle school years. And then fell into it really hardcore middle school, high school years, which were rough because there was no Star Wars.
Yes.
There was no Star Wars. There were a few at that point, but not yet. I actually have a clipping floating around here in my pile of Star Wars stuff somewhere that was a little snippet about George Lucas creating more Star Wars movies. And of course, the hubbub was all really exciting. This was all pre-internet, that it was going to be sequels. And I actually remember the first time I ever saw the word prequel, and it was PRE with a hyphen in front of it. Like, he literally coined the term. He's like, well, it's a sequel, but it goes beforehand. So I guess that makes it a prequel.
Yeah, I had never heard the word prequel until episode 1 was revealed. And I was like, what the hell's a prequel?
What the hell's a prequel? And I remember seeing it. Yeah, it was a hyphenated word at the time. And I have a very clear memory. I was obsessive reader as a kid. Walden Books for those Gen X or mall rats out there like me. I remember walking in. Yes, I remember walking in and seeing this huge display that had one of those islands in the middle where Heir to the Empire was sitting there. I will never forget. Like, I felt like someone had punched me in the gut, and I was like, "What is it? What is this? What is this?" And I opened it up, and it said right there that it was approved by Lucasfilm Limited, and this was the continuation of the story that he was not going to do. And read all the books, and then I remember the floodgates opened after that. And the expanded universe started from there. So
those books are wild. That first one, though, Heir to the Empire, is probably still, I think, the blueprint of
Very
what
much.
people think when they think Star Wars novels. And we're kind of getting it with the Thrawn they are setting up in Ahsoka. I feel like Ahsoka season 2, or the Mando, not the Mando movie, but the movie that comes after Mando that ties it all together.
Yes, the final Filoni-verse.
The Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The
the Star Wars Avengers, the Swengers, or whatever we're going to be. They've got to do beats from Heir to the Empire, like with Thrawn as the big bad, and maybe the rest of the Nile. I don't know.
I would think so. Yeah, I hope they can find a way to navigate it and make it good and interesting. There's already there's always a lot of scuffles with EU and Legends, fans and things that they really took to heart and really enjoyed, and when they change it, that's always difficult. But
definitely.
Oh, I love that on the Rebel side.
I agree.
When Thrawn came out, and they were like, "He's not enough." And I was like, "It's a cartoon. It's a different interpretation of the character. We have to roll him into canon." I still think they captured the essence of his character, but I understand that seeing him go up against a teenager makes people upset. Like, I get it.
Yep. I kind of have to say that was sort of like, I think he's one of those instances that they managed to straddle it pretty well. Like, you have the essence of the character, you have the same thing in the books, and it's there, and they threaded that needle relatively well with him.
Yeah, I was happy with it. And I think most people
yeah.
were. That's why they brought back Lars. If Thrawn was a disaster in Rebels, they would have recast. They would have been like, get as far away from this as possible.
Try something
and instead
new.
they were like, bring back the guy. Like, we
Double
thought he was
down.
great. Yeah.
Yes,
So yeah, they doubled
exactly.
down.
I think there's enough new material that there's hope that wherever this is going to end, that they're going to stick the landing. My sincere wish for it is that we have some collaborative writing. We get lots of points of view and lots of perspectives. Like we were just saying, more eyes, right? More eyes on the situation here. I think that can only make it better. And if they are managed to do that, I think we can get a relatively satisfying ending. I hope.
Your note about more eyes, I want to highlight a couple comments in the chat about that. So JB knows what a fun time it's going to be while everyone else is in Japan. And Scooby has some wonderful things to say about Sarah joining the crew. We agree you are crushing it. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And actually,
very well.
One of your initial co-hosts, Sherry. Remember when you and Sherry took over Rebels?
I do. It was
Sherry,
a good time.
We're going to get you on air during Japan. So while you are here, you're going to join us from one of the news desks. We're going to talk to you next week about like a night that works for you because we got to get you back on air, girl.
I agree. That would be super fun.
And this is actually the theme that we'll be running with throughout Japan. So while everyone else is away, it's the inmates.
One way out. Woo!
Yeah, one way out. And welcome Troy to the chat also. It's nice to see everyone. I love Thursdays because this is a raucous chat. Like of all the chats, Thursday is usually the most chaotic. Because
it's the OG, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it all started. So yeah, it's got the deepest bench. Is that did I sports term that right? Did I say that?
There you
Yep. You never know who's going to host either.
Okay,
yeah. Guest stars, guest host. We follow the content that's most current. So it's definitely the sort of must-see TV of the network. This is your anchor show for sure.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I think they started doing the watch along thing and then the Zoom as far as we are we're just over a month or right around 3 weeks probably over 5 years of doing this thing.
Yeah.
It started like the
in
second
March.
week of the lockdown or something.
Yeah. It started
So 2020 late March, mid-late March. And so it's been going strong for.
I was in the group the whole time. So long time lurker. It just never quite worked out. I was single parenting it at the time.
Right.
And I routinely fell asleep on the couch at like 8:30 Eastern time. I mean, it was, and then I had kids get into marching band, and Thursdays was always a big game night, and so it just kind of never worked out. And I was always like, I should do that. I should do that. I was been in the group since Celebration 2019, but I just finally came out. It was Rebels that got me out of the woodwork. So.
And it always comes back to Rebels.
Oh wow! Oh Sherry.
Sherry was furloughed from work because of
Can we wax poetic about furlough for a second? So first of all, it is a military term. So I feel like Sarah, JB would actually be the only.
He should be jumping in here with some,
He could actually talk about real furlough before it was co-opted by the civilians.
He actually was furloughed. Was that the? Oh, no, I'm going to get in trouble. I didn't say it right. He graduated from college and he was supposed to have a pilot slot, but they actually had such a glut of pilot students that he had to go on temporary active duty assignment while waiting for a slot to open up. And I don't remember if that was actually called furloughing or if it was deferment or something else. I don't remember. I'm going to get in trouble because I didn't remember. Right?
And he's in the chat. He should correct you.
He will, hopefully. If he's
unless he fell asleep on the couch already.
Maybe. He's like, this is great. The kids aren't there. Sarah's on TV. I'm taking a nap.
He's like, I made my comments. I'm good.
Yeah.
I hear my wife talking, but I.
That's how Jason feels about me. He's like, you're in the other room. Yep, there we go.
There it is. So.
Yeah. Good answer. Survey says.
His hand fell on the keyboard. Whoops.
You have to get one of those mice that shake so it looks like, yes, agreed. High five. Sherry, coming back to furlough. It all comes back to furlough and COVID and the VCN. Thursday was when I first started on the VCN as a guest host when I did the Darksaber stuff with Jeff and Dave and Spencer. We were doing a Chase the Darksaber as part of a rewatch getting ready for Mando.
Yeah, leading into the Mando stuff that we had a feeling Darksaber was coming.
Yeah, and boy, it was the thing. The Darksaber became like the MacGuffin of the series, which was kind of crazy. But before even that, I was writing a podcast essentially for a Rebels Rewatch show during my furlough from work when I was furloughed in May of 2020 at Tops. And I never landed the plane on it, but I was rewatching every episode and I was taking notes and I was going to do a podcast, but I didn't want to do it while I was still technically employed at Tops because it felt a little bit of conflict of interest and a little bit of like, oh, I'm not actually supposed to be working while I'm on furlough. And I literally work on this brand. So let me just do this for fun. I'll table it. And then I spoke to Spencer about it. And it turned into like, would we do a show on the network at some point? You should come on and guest. And then it turned into the show that I eventually launched with Ashley. And of course, Ashley and I go back from our Tops days. So the VCN has given me so much and also taken so much of my time. But, especially right now, we are in it.
Volunteered. You volunteered your time, sweetie. We all know this. You've made that very clear. Oh, yeah, we know all about that, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, Sherry, that Google Doc, I keep threatening I'm going to turn it into a PDF. We need to do that. So I know I keep saying it. I'm going to make it, I'm going to formalize it and maybe put in some pictures.
100 pages or something.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's deep.
We were on air for 2 years. We did over 100 episodes.
Well, yeah, I know, but you started it before that. I was busy playing video games.
Well, he put it together and threw it. Well, he had it and threw it up and then added to it slowly but surely through the lifespan of the show. So
I put in Wikipedia links, like notes about the episodes. If we had guests on, we had our questions listed out because we did our interviews as well. We did a lot of and it was good reference stuff. And then we went. You saw us we had a plan. We never stuck to it. And poor Jeff trying to wrangle me and Ashley, and the two of us were like blah, 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 the whole time. And you can't see Jeff sweat, but you know it's happening. So,
when you hear me is when you knew there was a little something was long-winded or needed to move a different direction.
All right, wrap it up, folks. Wrap it up.
Yep. Oh, Scoob. Yeah, this is actually so the real beginning for me, if we're going all the way back, was celebrating autographs with Frank. That's actually my way in with the group. I met Frank because of my role at Tops. I was working on Star Wars trading cards and planning celebration. And he really he put me on air. I spoke to him multiple times about what we were doing for the autograph hall. It was amazing. So I'm so happy you had a great experience in Chicago because I also know 2017 wasn't the greatest experience, but I planned 19 and I felt really proud about the way that came together.
Good.
All right. So anyhow, everybody make sure you get your Disney Plus ready to go. We're only a few minutes out.
Yeah. See, this is why we do the episode 30 minutes in. So we have to talk about CinemaCon and all the stuff that dropped as well. So we'll do that during the episode.
Yes,
and I want to talk a little. Jeff, I want to get your opinion on Tales of the Underworld. I know we talked about it last night because, holy hell,
the trailer just dropped out of nowhere. Yeah. I knew they were going to do that with some new version of that because that's how they do it. That show literally comes out of nowhere when it's the Tales of series.
Yeah. This is true.
I mean, they may allude to it at sometime in the past, but when and how, and we had an idea sort of that would be the time frame or whatever, but you have a hope, but you never know. And I was calling it, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, basically, but
that's what we were talking about. We kept saying Tales of the Bounty Hunters is what we wanted next, and they gave us Tales of the Underworld. You know what? I'll take it. It sounds fantastic. I'm so excited that Asajj is back, and I have a theory that someone else said as well. So I was like, oh, I feel vindicated. The young Jedi Padawan underneath Asajj Ventress is that Jude Law's character from Skeleton Crew.
Because he said his master got killed. Okay, so we're not going back into Asajj's past. We're picking up from where we saw her last.
Yeah,
she was. This is her version of.
She's got the yellow lightsaber. So.
And then that haircut, right? Isn't that more sort of like Bad Batch or something?
Post Bad Batch.
So this is post Bad Batch. Oh, interesting.
We're into era of rebellion. I would argue we're in year one, one.
This is later in her.
But this obviously has to be before Cad Bane showed up on Mandalorian.
Yes, I think for him, we're going way back with him.
It's likely going to be different episodes. I'm thinking
not concurrent,
different arcs.
Okay,
so it's going to be the Cad Bane 3 episodes or whatever,
Right.
and the Asajj 3 episodes that aren't necessarily coinciding. Maybe
At the
they'll
same
cross
time.
paths
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay.
parts of them, but I'm thinking that they're going to be more separate stories and
Yeah.
specific to those characters.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how they've done it in the past. You know, they had Ahsoka and Dooku in separate, you know, stories, and you know, so you know, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, though.
Definitely.
And then we can wherever they stick it, we'll find out later.
Okay. Yeah. There shall be much dissecting over that particular topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do we do the whole intro and the
we
recap?
Play everything. Started off from the Disney Plus
well,
logo.
See, then
no skipping, no jumping through any past any.
If you think my Disney Plus is even open, this whole time, Jeff, I've done no prep. We're telling everyone in the chat, open up your Disney Plus, and I'm hearing that, but not following instructions.
Well, I was ready to go a half hour early and not actually ready to go. So that
and I'm 2 minutes and 43 seconds in. So obviously, come on, Mark, let's go, chop chop, son.
This is what it's going to be like for like 5 straight days.
Oh yeah, there
absolutely
you go.
It is. Absolutely. Yep. My God, that was the worst part. Mark and Ashley would go off on a tangent, and 20 minutes into the show on Rebels Rewatch, Jason would go by and go like, "What are they talking about? Beyonce? What is happening?" I'm like, ugh.
You know what I want to talk about? How I can't get Lady Gaga tickets. CinemaCon just dropped a trailer for Megan 2. They dropped a Superman trailer. There's a new Thunderbolts thing about the stunt work. I got a lot to talk about, girl. Like we have things. So yeah, I brought topics.
Okay, so this isn't actually a watch along. This is just play the show and talk about whatever comes to mind.
That's what we always
the
do.
show will be playing. We'll comment on things that catch our eye. You know, it's you know, it's decent.
This says episode 11, Daughters of Ferrix.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah, it is called Daughters of Ferrix.
Yeah. At Rick's Road, though, is the one where they say F the Empire.
That's the one that I lured you in under false pretenses.
No, but here's the thing.
That you flipped
Daughters of Ferrix. I just blended the two in my head. So.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
But it is that arc, right? This is the end of the show, and it's a 2-episode arc.
Next week is the finale. Like, so,
yeah. And for some reason, I had it in my head that was the name of the finale, which is why I got it confused. And then it was like, wait, episode 11 was 12. What happened?
Yeah.
Well,
when I went in and set up the thing, I left in the Marty Matulis information, so I had to go back and edit that out. So we're all sort of scattered here today. So
he's amazing, by the way.
He was a lot of fun.
He's great on screen, and he is an excellent host. He's super engaged.
I was really disappointed that he has now an allergy to the prosthetic. He talked about a silicone allergy or latex allergy, I mean, and that's really too bad considering how much of that work is like his body of work.
He's done so much of it,
That's why he was like trying to, here I am, you know, you can cast this guy very easily.
Yeah, that's hard.
Doesn't have to be Vane or whatever. So yeah, it's a bummer that kind of implies we won't see any more Vane. But who knows? Anyways, it's time to start the show. So I'm going to throw up our 10-second countdown because I know where it is. It's not hard for me to find.
I'm glad you can figure it out.
And we're going to go.
Every week I'm like, where did it go? They moved it again. It's in the same spot. It's never moved. It's never
just a matter. It's a little quick scroll. And if you kind of have, anyways. And here goes the countdown. So watch the recap. No skipping ahead.
Yeah, see the recap. That's it. I'm already choked up. I'm already. Yep. I'm already. Oh yeah. Here we go.
This was pretty.
I wanted to put Sherry's comment because Sherry, why are you doing this to yourself? Watch it with us. We can cry together.
She'll double cry. She's been doing that for this whole season, catching it earlier and then watching it along. Probably partially because we BS so much through the damn episode that
if you really want to watch it, you got to watch it on your own. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, it's also
I'll ruin it for you.
You think you can brace yourself for it, right? You think if I watch it before we watch it, I'll feel better.
It'll like lessen it or something.
It doesn't work. It doesn't.
Some cases it can intensify just how much those memories come back of seeing it the first time or whatever.
Watching Marva, this was hard. Oh,
Hopefully they do some. Well, no, they can't. I was gonna say hopefully they do some flash. Well, I guess they could.
Yeah, you
Some
can
sort of
always flashback.
flashbacks
Yeah.
with her because that's just such a great actress.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fiona is just amazing.
Ooh,
That's the thing.
get
I
the
feel
pew
like
pew.
whatever your plan was, once you see how good all these individual people are, you have to think about like, okay, Marvo is so good. Do we
Mhm.
figure out how to incorporate another flashback or use footage that we didn't use last time? Like find ways to keep her in the conversation because people came for her, right?
And
Like,
also have her being still that influence on Cassian's character.
And
Yeah.
Bix too. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, Bix for sure, yeah.
She was a huge influence for that character. So it would definitely be interesting as those characters start to struggle to have flashbacks and have memories of their time with Marva or their time on Ferrix. I think it could be done well. And I think if anybody could do it well, it would be Tony. It could be very cheesy and ham-handed in the wrong situation, but I think
Right. Well, they
excellent writers, excellent directors.
Now that I think about it, the earlier episodes had all that flashback stuff with her as well, so very easily we could see some more.
Crossed, yeah.
Yeah, maybe maybe more young Cassian, which would be nice too, because Antonio was his name. He was a very cool kid actor. Yeah, even though he was an English speaker. Yeah, and then he was at what was he at Rick at Rhode Island? Wherever it was.
They had him at Rhode Island Comic Con like 2 years ago or whatever it was. Yeah, we had him at the VCN meetup. Yeah, he was terrific. All of the actors were excellent, and I think we're going to see more of Bix in this season. Like she was a big part of season 1, but like there was a good number of other characters. I feel like she's going to get elevated as well. I feel like there's. I
watched the behind the scenes interview, the revisiting Andor season 1, and she was the first actor that they had on with the host and Tony, and she is the one who has been calling Tony every couple of weeks, going, "When can we talk about this? When can we talk about this? Is it time to talk about it yet?" She is just super, super excited. That is like in this close to violating her NDA every 5 seconds.
Right.
How excited she is about where this character goes. So.
This whole hanging off the cliff thing weirds me out.
You know, I was just looking at it and going, I could maybe survive prison, but hanging off the cliff, I think nope. He's like, I can't feel my hands. I'm like, that's when I would accidentally let go and it would fall over.
We talked about this when the episode first aired about, okay, technically I can swim. Can I swim in the ocean? Can I swim for miles and not drown? Probably not. My assumption is 80% of those people didn't make it. But there's also that idea of like, is it better to drown trying to flee than end up essentially being a slave, right? Like, don't you think there's a very simple one-to-one comparison.
Once you come to that realization,
like slaves jumping from slave boats, right? Like the same idea of like there's one way out, and it is sadly not up but down.
Yeah, that's why I think that's what the implication was in the last episode. One of the final scenes there was them running out of the water onto the beach, and it was him and his friend there. I forget his name.
Melchi.
Yeah, he makes it into Rogue One. So
he does.
That's cool too. But there weren't other ones, staggering up on the beach behind him. It was just them.
Yep.
So, I'm sure there's other people that came up somewhere else, but
hopefully, and then that's why they were on the cliff, was they were hiding from the ship. So maybe they did come up on the beach and they got shot down, or picked back up, or whatever. Yeah, that's what they were doing, was sweeps trying to find them.
Yep. So it's hard to say, and maybe we'll meet somebody who was there in future episodes. But
are we taking bets on Kino Loy? Do we get to see Kino Loy again? Is that it?
He can't swim.
He can't swim, and I would imagine that if he.
Do you jump though? Here you go. This is a would you rather, because at this point, they're going to put you on. Either you're going to be a slave forever, or you're on death row, right?
Oh, they're going to kill him for sure.
Or
like they can't have a riot inside.
Right, exactly. For insurgents getting killed, kind of thing.
Yeah, when you have a foreman go to the other side, that's it. It's all over.
My thought was kind of a similar thing. You can't swim, but can you float?
Yeah, exactly. I think here's the thing. I would go for it.
Can you tread water?
You have to choose to try, you have to try, which is the thesis statement of Andor. You must try.
Yeah.
And I would try to swim, try to float, just try to survive. I don't
Yeah.
know. My odds of survival are very low. Very low.
Maybe you can find a couple of strong swimmers that'll help guide you along or something.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Look, and yeah, you got to jump. I agree with you, Jay.
Yeah, with JB.
JB, you're right
you
on.
gotta jump.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, they're not being able to swim as an actual, like, legitimate terror of water.
Yeah, that's
like
it. Yeah.
To me, that's what kind of struck it. Is it's not just, oh well, I can't swim. It's like I'm petrified of water. Like I can't get past my fear
kind of
to be willing to jump that far down into something that I'm not scared of.
I have a fear of heights. I don't have a fear of water.
Yeah, that too. Looking down into the water.
But I think in that case, the adrenaline will get me into the water.
Mm.
I still think I'm going to drown.
Yep.
But
I think I get shot. I think I get shot by one of the patrols that they're coming because I'm such a slow. I'm like dog paddling my way.
Yeah.
To the island.
I don't think I would have made it to the top though.
It'd been like fish in a barrel, man. And I never would have. I'd have been okay. I'd have been mobile. I'd have been head above water. I'd have been going for it.
Right.
But
the other thing though is that that was a pretty far drop. You could get hurt really bad if you landed wrong. The water is not that forgiving. People tend to think that, but people jump off of bridges and break tons of bones.
Okay,
rather
is
than...
it just me, or was this the funniest scene ever? Melchi
this is great.
Taking off and pell-mell belting down the beach, and Andrew's like, "Well, wait, we need a plan." And Melchi's like, "Nope, I'm going for it. This is it, 100% all the way." I mean, I cackled through that entire scene, and then the big sticky net thing hit him at the end.
Net thing. Oh,
really
I had
fun.
To pause the show. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I don't know what it was. I think it was just like the release from all of the tension and the drama and the oh my god moments, and just the two.
But also their lead up, because they're like going through this back and forth that whole time where they see the guys down there until they're actually
what
on.
What do we do? Let's be strategic about this. And she's like, nope, forget it. I'm going. Here. That's it. I'm all in.
And that one of those actors that in the suits was it Mike? What's his name? That played Nine Nub. He was one of those suit actors.
I don't know that one.
What's his name? I can't remember. Mike something. One of the original Star Wars actors, character actors. He played
Mike Quinn.
Yeah,
Mike Quinn. Yeah,
he played one of those. He played one of those two.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
Narkinians, native Narkinians.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one. But he's in one of those suits.
Oh, good for him. I love Mike.
Yeah.
He was so funny at the Cantina when he did like the Fraggle Rock theme song. That was wild. Those are the moments that I'm going to remember. So for anyone who maybe isn't, thank you, Sherry. Sherry knew Mike Quinn.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to put it up on the screen. I want you to get credit, girl. We had him sign for us all the time at Tops as Nine Nub, both from Return of the Jedi and from Force Awakens. So we basically had like 2 slices to. I hope they were able to get him to sign as this other Narkina 5 guy though, because that's cool.
Yeah.
But he could be added to your Andor poster now. So that's neat. What was I saying? Going back to the drowning. Would I have even made it to jump is the other question. Do you get out of the scuffle in the prison?
Oh,
I
hell
don't think I would have gotten up. Like I'm
elbows up, man. Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. Oh, you don't have to be athletic. You just gotta be vicious, Mark. You're you're feisty enough.
I think what you're talking about, climbing up out of the work area thing or something, or
just in general, I got to survive the shootout. I got to throw a punch. I got to be nimble. Like I'm a clumsy person.
That's so cool.
So we'll see. Look, I also have a lot of fire, so
and so that's a whole mob mentality, right? Like you're not alone. You'd be crafty enough to make sure some big guys are in front of you, so they're like blockers,
blocking,
you know, catching any stray fire. Yeah, I think you can make it out.
I think my number one skill in that situation is I would not be afraid to take a life from someone on the other side of things. Like my moral boundary is going to be easily crossed because here's the thing, everyone in there is wrongfully imprisoned, right? So at that point it's like, well, my sense of justice is like, you're dead to me now. So
most of the time I'm I'm the yeah buts kind of girl. But after Narkina 5, every single one of those, I wouldn't left one alive. Not one.
I'd go after that judge too. I'd find out where she lives. Like I'd burn her house
I don't
down
feel
with her
bad.
in
See,
it.
I would not do that for her because she's just doing her job. She didn't choose to. That was the order handed down by the emperor. It was his plan.
Yeah,
like it's not her fault.
She's sitting at that judge's table eating her peanuts or whatever that was.
Right.
This is true. But if she doesn't do it, then she's going to jail too.
Yeah, I get it. Look, resistance starts at all levels. I'm still going to burn down her house. I mean,
okay,
in my fictionalized plan where I escape the prison, don't drown,
the catty
hunt down the judge.
Shore.
Here we go. Clea versus Vale. Taking bets now. Oh. Throw in. Who you siding with?
Oh, girl, the feisty lesbian or the feisty secret lesbian? That's the real question.
Oh, Clea owns that shop.
Yeah.
Step back.
I'd like to see that fist fight. Come on now. I didn't think about that because their showdown is so verbal and it's so brilliant.
And they're so polished and coiffed and like perfectly makeup.
Yeah, this is like such the polished versions of their personas versus their alter, other versions we've seen that are a little more gritty.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's the thing is that's Clea's job. You are always on camera, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Someone is always watching and half the time they're listening. And so she is an expert at that double speak that Luthen has. And the fact that Vel just comes in and starts like, guttering everywhere and starting to want to, and she's like, what the hell?
What are you talking about?
Hello. I don't want to get shot by a sniper, sweetie. Take your, Aldani scuzzy ass out of here. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm with Clea on this one. I love
it's sledgehammer versus scalpel.
Yeah. I'm like, there's a reason you're stationed in the outer woods and I'm here on Coruscant now. Go away.
I want to bring up something you said last night, Sarah. On Daughters of the Galaxy, you and Ashley were talking specifically about Clea, and you had a thought that maybe Clea was in charge of Luthen. Did I remember that correctly?
Well, it was a hypothesis that my son Ian floated when he was home for Christmas break, and it just threw me for a loop because I'd never thought of it. And not so much in charge of him. He's very much a center spy master, tactician. He's working all the moving pieces in secret, but that she might actually be higher up than him in the hierarchy of the rebellion itself.
So closer to like Leia and Dodonna and all of them.
Right. As whatever nebulous state it's currently in. And that came from the whole point when Luthen was kind of panicking a couple episodes ago. And he was talking about how he had his go bag. He was getting ready to bug out. And that he was like, I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to burn. I'm going to take care of it. I'll handle it. And she's like, no, you're not. And he's like, you need to be ready to leave. You need to be ready to get out of here. Are you taken care of? I'm staying here. And she's like, I'm staying with you. And he's like, no, you're not. You need to go. And so my son took that to mean that maybe that makes her a little higher up. I mean, because Leia was like, 18 when she was in charge of everybody and Yavin 4 sort of thing. So I don't know that her age matters, but definitely perspective age-wise for us. To me, it was more he's committed to scorched earth, to salting anything that's left behind. He will hold the grenade and make sure everything burns, but he needs the next generation or his protege, his acolyte, whatever, to go on and continue, and he doesn't want to take her down with him. So it's two very different, interesting perspectives on what exactly is their dynamic, because it isn't expositioned anywhere. We're not actually sure yet. So I'm really curious to see how things are going to kind of shake out in year 2 of Andor with the first arc.
Yeah.
She's definitely in charge of his movements and motions, and as Sherry is saying, maybe his handler. I don't know, like it's almost like in professional wrestling there's the wrestler and the manager. Is she the manager? And she's like not puppeteering, but she's making sure he needs to be where he needs to be, where he's on camera, as you were saying earlier. Like,
well, in our world, is in the military world, it's his exec. You have a colonel, a lieutenant colonel who is a squadron commander or a group commander, and they're the ones who are making the decisions and the choices, and they handle all the big pictures. The execs is in charge of your schedule. They're in charge of make sure you're handling, you have your appointments, you're doing everything right. Basically, their job is to protect you so that you can make the big decisions. It's to take care of you. It's also kind of like the West Wing. Charlie, the president's body man, like they have this intimate personal relationship, but he's still the president of the United States. Like he can come in and wake him up and be like, sir, it's 5:30. You have to get up and do your cabinet meeting. And I don't care what you say to me. You're still getting up.
Right.
You're going to have your coffee. You're getting in a shower and you're going to go to your meeting. Like, I don't care how mean you are to me. This is what's happening.
Gotcha.
So that was always kind of my perspective on who Clea was. But I loved being wrong about many, many things in Andor and Rogue One in particular. So I can't wait to see what the reality of the situation is.
I got something partially right when we saw
you
the
did
trailer.
not. Lies.
When the first trailer came out, Mon Mothma was with her cousin, and I said something. I was like, "Oh, could that be a secret girlfriend?" And so I picked up on the underpinning of the lesbian vibe from Vel.
Yes.
And I was like, look at that. We'll call that 50%, right? Like one of those ladies is into ladies. So, but because I knew Mon Mothma was married in this canon, like there's never a mention of like a husband or a child in any other form of media about this person. In fact, one of the things that I always thought was really interesting about Mon Mothma is she always seemed like a lone wolf of every type, right? She's
actually,
this senator.
There were some EU books about her. That's where the character of Lita comes from. She also had a son in a novel, I think, somewhere.
Okay.
But that's actually where Lita came from.
That makes sense then.
That was
I never kept up with
but they
the
only
EU.
picked up on that. I just knew that from the Wikipedia scan. Don't
Yeah.
make it
I remember when we did the
deep dive on
Mon Mothma Wookiee, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much to her. Because in like Clone Wars and in Rebels and everything else, it was just like she's a senator, she's a leader of the rebellion. It was almost all like here's our career slice, but nothing about her family slice. And then you get there and it's like, who's this terrible husband? I was like, oh my god, I hope she's getting a divorce. And then
arranged marriage.
All the memes about like how the best thing that Star Wars ever did was the slow divorce of Mon Mothma.
I love it.
So stupid.
Great. That's right. Oh my god. Oh.
And meanwhile, we're laughing during like one of the most brutal scenes ever.
Oh, I know. So my question about this is, did she give up Andor? Did she tell him everything she knew? Okay, this was the scene we talked about last night.
Yes.
This is the scene where the woman is literally breaking out the wine, watching her, 15-year-old daughter literally invoke the ancient rites.
Join a cult.
Ancient rites of Shangela to put herself on the marriage market all by herself without the blessing or acceptance of either one of her parents.
How much must you hate your parents to be like, I am out of here? Meanwhile, like, look, I realize a porcelain prison is still a prison, but like she's living in like the upper echelon of everything over here. It's so frustrating.
It's the only thing she shows up for on time. It's mad. She found the elder. She got the. Did you see that side eye? Did you see that evil side eye she gave her mother? Yeah. And Vel is just like horrified, obviously. Clearly, Chandrilan, upper echelon aristocracy does not approve of lesbian relationships or marriages. So, yeah.
This whole chant is just...
It's the Handmaid's Tale, only it's tradwife nonsense, and they're glamorizing it because these kids don't know better, because they've been in this aristocracy and this, like, look at this porcelain, like, just mansion in which they live. So they're like, they don't have a care in the world.
Tip top of Coruscant kind of thing.
Imperial inspectors, that means ISB. I mean, she has to be terrified.
They're poking around.
Specifically Chandrila. So they know that there's a whole lot of trouble coming, and so you wonder, was Tay part of that? Was he part of the reason why they started looking at Chandrila and bank accounts? There's a lot of money there. And if he's being a vocal dissident, it gets you noticed.
Vocal dissidents are targeted by fascist regimes. Pay no attention to what's going on in America right now. This isn't a political show.
Yeah, my shirt is absolutely having to do with Andor. I do not respectfully dissent. It's absolutely an Andor shirt.
Oh boy,
completely one. Yep.
We had a whole conversation about tariffs, and just like I feel like we're not only in the darkest timeline, we're in the stupidest timeline. At least when I watch Andor, I was like, oh, this is dark and terrible and really smart. Like you look at Deirdre Miro, and I was like, brilliant. Thankfully, she's not in our government. Luckily, we have like we have equivalents of her evil, but like they're put through the lens of like Austin Powers stupid, right? Like we have Austin Powers
That doesn't make me
villains
feel better,
in our
though.
government.
It really
No, I
does
know they're
not
all
make me feel
morons,
better.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Put the tariffs on the islands that only have penguins. That's my favorite one.
Oh my God. I thought that was an Onion thing. And you know
I
how
thought it
many
was a
times I've
joke.
said out
I
loud?
thought it was
Like,
a joke.
yeah. I was like, oh, what country is this? Because I didn't know. And then I'm like, oh, penguins live there. Great.
Damn it.
Well,
No
we're
more
going to tariff the
penguin
penguins
stuff.
of Madagascar at this point.
That must be where we get all of our penguins at the zoos from, and that's why
Yeah.
they put tariffs on them. We're going to tariff those poor little penguins. They can't come.
We
live
need
in our
American penguins.
zoo. Oh my God.
Also known as pigeons.
There you go. Or seagulls.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, look at my Mon
Look at
Mothma.
this.
She's
She is
Genevieve
so broken.
How?
She's stunning. She's absolutely a stunning actress.
But also, how fucking lucky did they get that they
Mhm.
cast that
She
deleted
aged
scene
right into
from
it.
Revenge of the
and then
Sith?
they cut her ass out. She wasn't even allowed to be.
When you said it last
she
night,
wasn't-
it's a good thing I'm not on air with you guys because the whole time I'm like, yes, Sarah, yeah, I'm like screaming over here, like pounding the table.
It was
like,
so
being like,
offensive. Like she
I
goes
know.
through all this effort, and then they just cut her out. Just cut her out. Bye. And
Mhm.
then 20 years later, we're like, oh, you want to come back and do this other thing? And she's
Mhm.
like, sure. I mean, we are so lucky. So lucky.
It's wild. Not only
Mhm.
did she like age into it, it turns out Genevieve O'Reilly is an amazing actress and has
Mhm.
like probably now only just getting her flowers for it, which is
Mhm.
wild because. And then you actually look at her outside of the hair and makeup of the show. She's got blonde hair, I think, in real life, but like
Mhm.
she looks nothing like Mon Mothma. What they're doing with this makeup, the contouring and whatever else, and
Mhm.
that wig or the hair dye or whatever, it's transformative.
It's a wig. It's glorious. She
Performance
talked about it. She was also in the behind the scenes. Anyone who has not seen the behind
gotta
the
watch
scenes
the
behind
of
the
season
scenes.
one with Tony Gilroy, I highly recommend it. She's another one of the actors that they bring in. And I think what was so amazing, both about her and the actress who played Bix. I'm losing her name. It's
Oh.
I had it right
I usually
here.
have
with me
my
before.
pages pulled up, and I did no prep.
I didn't bring it today. Sorry, folks. They love their characters. They love them. They are so into these characters. And at one point, I think it was an interview I read with Genevieve O'Reilly. She talked about when Tony was telling her about where the character he was thinking of taking Mon Mothma and what he was thinking about doing for season 2. And she was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And he's like, no, not whatever. I want to hear what you have to say, what you think. And she's like, okay, I didn't mean whatever. She's like, whatever you do, I trust you. She's like, this has been stunning. This has been incredible. I have no complaints. I trust you completely where you want to go. And I thought, first of all, how amazing is it that a showrunner is looking for that level of input from their cast? And second of all, to have someone who be like, I am so thrilled with what you have done. I don't really
More
right?
of the same, please.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. She's like, I trust you. And also I trust you that if I have an idea in the midst of season 2 and bring it up to you, you'll listen and you'll make it work.
Mhm.
So the more I learn about the show, the more I fall in love with it. From, and he talks about if you're into directing, and he'll point out the director here and the writer here with this episode, which is never him. He talks about how incredible they are and how amazing they are. And so it just, from whole other perspectives and angles that I don't normally think of as a fan, the more I hear, the more I see, the more I learn, the more I love and appreciate the show. And so I'm so excited for season 2.
And Tony, that scene with
Yes.
Cyril,
Yes.
Tony knows how to direct actors. Genevieve doesn't move when she's sitting on the couch. It's all in her face.
Yep.
Cyril is like pressing his head up against a screen that probably doesn't have any video on it. They're probably adding the video in post, right?
Yeah, little lights maybe
definitely.
to make the flickering effect on his face, and that's
Yeah.
probably about it. Yeah.
There's so much there. Every time we see Deirdre, she's either on the verge of tears or looking like she's going to choke someone or both, right?
Mhm.
That woman is given everything she's got. It's like she's sweating into the camera.
She is. And she was so excited. She was like, thank God that this is not going to be some evil woman who falls in love and turns good. She's like, I don't think I'd have taken the role if he'd have told me that's where it was going. And I was like, dang, girl, all right.
I know.
Cue that scenery. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The Saw scene. The Saga
boy. Can I be that guy and be like, I'm good. Like, I'm glad that Saw's in it, but he's a lot. Yeah,
Really?
he's a lot.
I was so excited to see him here, to see
That's
that.
a good connection back to Rogue One.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
for
say that
sure.
transition from Clone Wars, where we left him,
Right. So
and
sort of,
into what we see him at in Rogue One, and the fact that he voiced the animation when
Mhm.
Rogue
The
One came first.
continuity
Like
is
this,
perfect.
Yeah.
it's just making my little continuity heart so happy. It's just over
Yeah.
here purring like a little kitten. I'm like, yes.
and then
yes.
seeing that sort of interim version of him as well.
Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
curious what it's going to
Where
be
he's-
like in the progression of the crazy over the next several years. Yeah, Forrest Whitaker is incredible. You know, we got to bring him a celebration in
Mhm.
That's very
19,
cool.
and he did splendidly, of course.
Oh yeah.
And it's just it's a different level, right? When it's like Academy Award winner, like Forrest Whitaker, like he's in a league of his own over there.
And I love that there are these incredible actors that want to be a part of Star Wars. You know, that means just so much to me, especially when you have to deal with negativity, both from inside and outside the fandom.
And something that's technically TV, which is like when it comes to certain types of actors, one or the other is semi-taboo. Like if you're really a TV actor, doing movies has in the past been a issue, or they just don't translate.
Tough transition. Yeah.
And vice versa, where if you're really a movie star and then going to TV has always been sort of like a bad thing.
Yeah, it's like a step down. Yeah.
So the fact that they're embracing it in that and not worrying about what specific way it's going to be displayed.
I really think it says something about the quality of the shows that we're dealing with, because these people don't have to do this. They don't have to. He didn't have to write Saw Gerrera in here. It's great that he did, but if Forrest would have been like, piss off, no thank you, Star Wars.
Yeah.
They would not have recast him.
Yeah, the fact that he was willing, obviously, to come back. I'm sure that, payday is there, but he has to have some other connection, I would think, more than just
really want to do it. I think he was in a position that,
Right.
But I love the paranoia coming through here, and the fact that he's damn well that Luthen is a big liar and a manipulator. And he's like,
There's a lot of interesting philosophy here. Like, I think the word you used last night about Luthen was an accelerationist. And it was something about how, right? Like how he needs to make sure people suffer so that we can get their response. And then Saw, on the other hand, is like, we need to swing big and not play by any rules. And then you have someone like Mon Mothma who's like, work within the system. And so you start seeing these slices of the rebellion, and it's why it's so
coming from all different angles.
Yeah,
I mean, why it almost fell apart at the pinnacle of Rogue One. They almost capitulated. They were like, okay, too scary. Too scary. He's coming after us now. He's blowing planets up. Okay, give. Uncle. They Columbia University did, right?
I was gonna say
blowing up planets.
Right now, like, oh, did you get it? Yes.
No way. Look at that.
It's got to light up.
I want to turn off the light, Jeff.
That's too many switches, but
it's shielded. Oh, that's amazing.
A little bit.
I love it.
And then the super laser. Yeah, that really looks cool. Super laser.
Oh. Stop!
Now this is how you do a popcorn bucket.
Yes. This thing's amazing.
The amount of effort that went into that.
And then it's like massive, like cavity inside.
Just
it's
make
like
sure
really
you put too much butter or like cheese in there, because then you're just going to have like a.
This is going to be the perfect accessory for any cosplaying person that wants some sort of bag with them. Like a, maybe you're a Imperial or something, you can carry this with you. But yeah, this is.
I got to be honest. If you're Krennic, that's exactly the kind of thing he would have.
That's you need to have.
And honestly, even if you're like Leia or Andor or whoever, like
there's a lot of places you could go with that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun piece.
The second one, so I
just had an image of Chopper rolling down the hall at high speed, holding that over his head, going wow, like just running away with Death Star.
Yeah. Sarah, you got to meet the live action Chopper at Rhode Island Comic Con last year.
Did.
Yeah,
did. And at the Scum and Villain.
It's Scum and Villainy.
Hive of Scum and Villainy.
Family vacation.
Yep, during the family vacation. Yes, those are some of my.
But yeah, we got two last year. incredible.
favorite photos, and my friends
that
keep
was-
going like, I don't think you beamed that hard in your wedding photos. I was like so excited.
Yeah, we-
I
Oh, I
love
fully
me some
interviewed that chopper from Family Vacation.
I
Yeah,
did. I
we had
laughed
we had
really
a
hard
whole
at that.
conversation.
That was good. That was good.
that was one of the fun highlights of that particular venue, having Chopper and R2 there.
I love
I hope there'll
that.
be
And
some
actually,
droid
I'm really
builders in
excited
Texas.
because K2SO is a close second. I actually saw Rogue One before I saw Rebels, so he was at the top of my list. And then, the murder droid bumped him right out of there.
Yep.
Right out of there. Yeah.
Chopper's
So
definitely
can't wait.
my
Okay, here we go.
favorite
Here we go.
droid, too.
Here's the conversation. Here's the conversation. This is the one, right? We got to try to read the between the lines here. Because they know they're being listened to, right? So we're talking about buying antiquities.
I love the
but that's not what we're talking about
double
here.
speak like you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Nothing more you can do. And they're talking about Andor here, right? Mm-hmm.
Bringing him in.
Losing that piece. Mm-hmm.
Out of market. Yeah.
Preparing for every outcome.
I love that antiquated technology that you don't have that issue anymore. Things don't go fuzzy like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the one that's least likely to get picked up, right? Like when you have the older, closer to analog technology, you're less likely to be picked up on the higher bands
radar
where the Empire tends to run, right? Yeah.
And we waited 11 episodes for this scene. This was in the trailer, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it really? Yeah, see,
No.
this is why I don't watch trailers, people. This is why. Because then I just walk into delight at every episode and I know nothing. It's fantastic.
This whole thing with Luthen's ship is what I'm alluding to. Spoiler alert. There's some craziness going to go down here in a second. Well, actually, yeah, so we see it a little bit. This first part is insane.
Yeah.
And then the second part is like off the hook, kind of just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what they showed in the one of I think the early trailers.
Okay.
And everybody speculated as to what this ship was or whose it was.
Mm-hmm.
I love that classic bridge, though, for the Star Destroyer style vehicles.
Mm-hmm. All those
It's
big
very
radar
cool.
dishes out in front. Is that like an ISB ship? I don't think I've ever seen one like that before.
Yeah, it's got those weird, well, it's like a super tractor beam thing or something.
Mm-hmm. But the 3 points, they usually have like guns out in front, right?
Yeah, or mounted around the ship, but like the shape is altered because of that. I love this whole thing where he's stalling them.
Mm-hmm. Always so polite. I had a senior spouse that I dealt with in the military. She called it the velvet steamroller. That you come in and you flatten them, but you do it with kindness and niceness and sweetness and proper British accents and politeness. And then by the time you leave the room, they're like, "Wait, what just happened? I just got steamrolled and I don't feel anything. What happened?" So yeah, that's what's going on here. Velvet steamroller.
I enjoy how this is very much a police encounter. And they're like, "Oh, we confirmed his ID, but we're gonna like board this guy anyway." So when they get blown up by the lasers, it's very F the police.
I was
I'm
going
all
to say,
for
can
it.
I throw this in here? It's a police encounter for white people.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. Because we have enough time.
I love this.
Does he think he can get away? Nope, he gonna blow you up, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think he can get away. He knows he can get away.
Mm-hmm.
He's just waiting for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. I love this whole flak thing that he shoots at. So
it's amazing.
Just look at that. Pepper that sucker.
And it's just going to look like they were exploded by
And
nails.
it reminded me of the thing that Mando has, right? With the little, what do they call them? The little whisper birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, whistling birds. Very similar kind of idea, except for less precise, but equally as devastating, I would say, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And here we go.
Okay, but I also thought it was a fascinating character arc. It makes me really sad, but the fact that he doesn't name his ship or his droid. It's just the Fondor droid. It's the Fondor ship and the Fondor droid, and it's like a class of ship.
Well, that droid is similar to the idea of L3.
Yes.
Being incorporated into the Falcon, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but I just always thought it was sad. There's no designation. There's no name. There's no anything. It's just a tool because you can't become attached to anything, right? Not even a droid that saves your life.
That little barrel roll thing was what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And look at this guy. He's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Watch the whole thing.
He's pulling a Constantine, right? He's sitting there going, I don't.
How do you report that back to the Empire and be like, this is what we're up against? Like, individual nonsense like that.
Yeah. Oh, Andor, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm aware you're not getting a picture. Oh, come on, buddy. Come on. Sparkle up. Sparkle up.
Yeah, he's...
God, can you imagine? Can you imagine being the guy on the other end of the phone? Like,
You're bringing the hammer down, man. What are you doing? No names.
Oh, I forgot to tell everyone because I was at the screening of Screamboat.
Oh, right, you talked about that.
It was like really fun and weird and crazy. And it's out for a very limited time. So if you guys like unrated horror, want to support independent horror, like the type of IP where it's like, hey, this is a Disney thing they're making fun of.
Yeah.
It's also set on the Staten Island Ferry, so like it's just wild. Like go for it's from the same family of people from like Terrifier and Stream and all that. So good times. I'm just excited.
You and I have different definitions of good times, sweetie.
Yeah.
Was it the same people that did that Pooh horror film?
No. Totally different group of people.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff that hit the public domain.
Same theme.
Like Pooh, Blood and Honey is there's also the Mean One, which is a Grinch thing, which that one was done by the same family of films that did Terrifier and this one. So
the actor that played Melchi here said that this was one of the first things that they shot, and that it was absolutely freezing that day. That they had a storm come through with a cold front, and it was like,
well, you can see those clouds aren't.
Yeah, it was like 30, 40 degrees. And as Tony pointed out, the director decided to do the shot where, that's 30, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius, for our non
for our international audience
system friends. Yeah, that he pointed out that he's pulling the horizon line.
It drops up and down.
Yeah, that the director decided to angle it and shoot it that way, that it's mirroring that the end of Rogue One.
Oh, and that sort of sunset idea.
Yeah, that none of that was in the script, that this was completely the director's choice to go ahead and mirror that. Yep.
Well, it's good that they pulled the little nuanced things.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing, right? Like they got the freedom and the capability and the trust from Tony to do what they thought would add to the story. It feels very collaborative. Yeah. And I want more of that too. I would love some more collaboration in Ahsoka season 2 and whatever else is coming. The Mando movie, certainly in Andor season 2. I trust Tony and whatever team he has assembled. So I'm so ready. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So
I went
Sherry
into
noticed.
There it is. Yeah.
Whoops. And there's
Ashley and I do this every Monday. We click at the same time.
Bing, 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 bing. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Good call.
She's fast. Ashley's on it. I'm like getting ready to scroll over. She's already clicked it. She needs to be in charge of the 5-second countdown, honestly.
I bet you can find it. Yeah.
What an episode.
Yeah, and ends on such a down note.
Well, and it starts on such a high one, right? Because they get out, they succeed, they get away, they're on the run. It's going great. Everything is up and positive and in a good beat. And things are. What are we doing with Luthien? And and then it just kind of goes steadily downhill from there.
Yeah. Stellan delivers in this episode. Denise and Kyle, Genevieve. Audra's not in it as much, but what she's in, she does. And let me tell you, Vel, amazing. Even the daughter, who I hate, you're right. That's side eye right there. She does so little. She does these little things. She didn't say she does so little. She makes these
Yeah.
little motions that deliver so much in the little screen time that she has.
subtle.
The daughter
Yeah.
really makes you believe that she like hates her mom. Yeah,
And
Right.
she's doing
very
it just
subtle,
to
and she's
needler.
great
Like
at
she's like, "Are you watching? Watch me do this."
Yeah. This is. I know you
Like,
hate
I
this.
know how
Look,
much you're
I'm
gonna
doing
hate
it.
this.
I'm diving
Watch
in.
me
get
sell
married,
myself.
Mom.
Watch me
Yeah.
sell myself. Yeah, it is literally a ceremony in which they announce the daughter is now accepting marriage proposals. That was the whole point of that scene in the dining
Yeah.
room. And when I read that, I
Mm.
was utterly horrified
Mm.
because I thought she was just like going like
Yeah.
fundy religion or something, you know, but it was like, no, that was literally what that entire ceremony was
Yeah.
for. That's why she walked out all happy and excited and hugged her auntie Belle. And I was like, ew, child, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
There's
one more episode left, so
there's
it's going to
definitely
be.
a desire.
okay, somebody talk.
We're stepping on each other.
Want to go? No, it's okay. Yeah, one left. No, I was gonna say there's definitely a desire for the daughter to just exit that family, and is this the only
Hmm.
way that she'll actually
Yes.
be able to leave? Because Mon Mothma would never let her leave on like any normal circumstances. She had to find the like loophole through her
Yeah.
like ancient culture to escape her parents. I bet you she hates them both too, because the dad, as much as he seems like
No, she
fun,
doesn't hate her
useless
dad. She doesn't hate her
like,
dad because her dad lets her do whatever she wants. Dad is the fun guy. He's
It
the
doesn't
party
seem
guy.
like she likes him either, though. Is kind of what I think Mark might
Yeah.
be.
Okay,
As
that's a
soon
good
as he
point.
ends up in a
She can
prison.
use him to get whatever she wants. Yeah. And, you
Yeah.
know, and this is the difference between me and JB. He's like, I'm like, fine, go ahead. Sparkling consequences, sweetheart. FAFO. You go out there and you have a real good time in the galaxy all on your own. You don't need mama's money. You think she's a big loser. Go have fun. Daddy's piddled away your entire allowance on his gambling bills. Have fun. Go ahead. Mwah, bye. Love you. Don't write. Thanks. And Jason's like, no, I hope she gets safely married and goes on some mid-rim planet somewhere and she's not anywhere near the mess that's coming. And I'm like, all right. So that's the difference between me and him. He's like, he wants her safe. And
well, that's another thing. It'll be interesting to see all these other characters besides the whole Andor connection to Rogue One that we've been introduced to. So
my initial thought with Lita, this is how much I disliked the character. I was like, she is the reason Mon Mothma was on the run in Rebels. I believed the daughter eventually figured out the double timing that Mon Mothma was doing and that she was no longer able to perpetrate this farce because her daughter found out and squealed and she pulled a Tim. She pulled a Tim from Ferrix and called the feds and got her mom pinched, and her mom had to bolt and run and leave everything behind. And that's why she was being that. I know this is how much I dislike that girl.
Sherry, you and Sarah are on the same wavelength.
Hey, girl.
I hope that's not the case. But here's the thing. I'm usually wrong, and I didn't think that. So if I'm wrong and I didn't think that, it might be true. And Sarah and Sherry sharing a wavelength
we are.
here.
But I mean, I do hope that, I mean, honestly, truly, I think Jay's right that hopefully she's off somewhere safe with the kid of the gangster who's maybe not as bad as his dad, and they're safe somewhere. And that's why Mon felt okay running, right? Like she reached the pinnacle of her slow divorce and she felt okay running because she knew her daughter was safe. But I don't trust Tony. Nothing ever worked out happy or sunshine or roses for anybody we've seen so far. So I'm not holding my breath on that.
He's batting 1,000 in the wrong direction.
I think they're basically just going to pick off everybody as they go, kind of thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Some horrible catastrophe is
I'm
waiting
concerned
everybody,
about that
just
too.
like in Rogue One. Just like, I mean,
well,
not one of them made it out.
Does anyone remember Mon Mothma having kids in the prequel era where she's in those books with Leia? Like, isn't she like one of the main senators? No, I've never mentioned like hearing anything about a kid or a grandkid or anything. Whereas Leia is like famously has a son. Like, I look. A lot of people don't have kids in this galaxy somehow.
I mean, hopefully,
like no one has
Lita
children
just
and no one's ever
changed
pregnant.
her name and disappeared. You know, hopefully that's what happened. Nobody knows Mon Mothma has a daughter because she disappeared and she's on the run somewhere. That would be great.
Best case scenario, she lived a happily ever after with no contact.
Not that she deserved it at whatever age she's at now, but hey, you know, better angels, right? Better angels.
Will say I'm not going to judge a teenage girl for her decision making.
I was a teenage girl. I'm entitled to judge teenage girls because I judge myself. I judge the rest of them. We're terrible, or at least I was.
I'm going to side with JB on this one. That I think, given the circumstances, here's the other thing: the son of the gangster. If he knows dad's a gangster and also sees the path ahead. Is he also looking for a way out? And as it turns out, they find each other and they're like, oh, our parents are garbage, just in different ways. They're just different sides of the political spectrum garbage or whatever.
Right.
Let's F out of here, build our own lives together, and we're saving each other. It's even less about escaping the parents, like, or maybe it is about escaping the parents. It's less about being married, and it's about like finding a way out together. I think
what I'm
perfectly
hoping.
reasonable.
That's what I'm hoping, because I mean, obviously, Leda, as much as she dislikes her mother, knows absolutely nothing about who she really is and what she's doing. And the father, the gangster, I had his name last night, and it's now escaping me. Skolden.
Yeah, same.
Dako Skolden. He specifically
I remember
says,
you struggled last night trying to remember, and I was like, I can't Google it fast enough.
I found it. I found it.
Google gangster in Star Wars.
I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. I don't have the speaking. But he specifically says to Mon and Perrin, I want respect. I want in. Like, I've got the money and nobody likes how I got it, but I want into the upper echelon. That's what I'm looking for. And I want a what's the word I'm looking for? A beneficial marriage for my son. That's what I want. I want respectability.
So like an old school
marriage,
like kingdoms getting combined.
How I can get it. So
like
I'm wondering if, like Mark said, maybe Skolden's son doesn't have any idea where dad's money came from. Maybe he just thinks he's a successful merchant. Maybe he doesn't know he's a criminal. And these two dopey kids go off somewhere in the outer mid-rim and have dopey kid families living off of their ill-gotten trust funds or something. I'm good with that.
Oblivious to what actually got them there. Right?
But honestly, out of all the people that get a happy ending, those two would be kind of low on my list. Their age does it for me. I'd rather see Vela and Senta get a happy ending, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it would be wonderful to have a show where like all the gays don't die, especially since we have like 2 of them. Like it'd be great if they both live.
It could get better. You don't know. It could get better so far. I mean, it could get better in season 2.
They're both still alive, so look, we're doing great. They made it through season 1. But look, also we have to stop killing women in general too. Like, just
well, there's more of them this time around. There's
someone.
There's a greater percentage. So more. I mean, Marva's already down. So we got to see. There's a strong likelihood at least a few of them are going to.
We'll lose a few. And in fact, if we're really counting here, like we got to get rid of Denise Go, and not by I love her.
Well, yeah. I mean, she would be a force to be reckoned with, but in later times, if she still existed, I don't think you could have a character like Dedra Miro that didn't exist at the same time, that wasn't going toe to toe with Tarkin. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think she'd have fought her way up there. But honestly,
or at least pushing Admiral Azul off of a cliff or something. Like,
Admiral Azul, right? Yep. Admiral Azul would not have been able to make that mistake.
That moron. Who I think was a secret rebellion plant the whole time.
No, Hoth was the backwater planet. Poor Vader, he just had to pick up whatever crappy little troops were circling around out there, man. I mean, he didn't get, that's what I think.
What does Vader say about him? He's as clumsy as he is
stupid.
Is he as stupid? It's like
Yep. He came out too close to the system. He felt surprised. He's as clumsy as stupid. Oh God, okay, everybody panic. The whole base, everybody panic. Yeah, Vader's mad, look out. Yep. But yeah, the way the actress was speaking about the character of Bix, it came across very clear to me that she doesn't survive. To me, the question is how far into season 2 will Bix make it?
Yeah, that's what we actually need to do is our bingo card of predictions. Who lives, who dies,
we need
how far do they make it?
We need a bet. We need a pool bet. Yeah. Length of time, number of episodes. How long does Bix live? How long does Deidre make
it?
Yeah, we need it. You're good at spreadsheets, right, Mark?
How deep into the series or the
Excel file going?
Give us an episode. Give us an episode call on when each XYZ character bites the dust. Yeah.
We need to get some episode names or something.
That's really the only way we can make it through, right? In order to survive, we got to have a little gallows humor going on here in order to make it through the season. The question is, what do we win? What do we win? Just bragging rights?
Yeah,
Can we get a little swag, a free t-shirt, maybe something? I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk to like one of our teas. Yeah, something like that. I've given away plenty of shirts on the network.
Right. I won the Andor bingo card. Yeah, I didn't have this on my bingo card. Andor season 2. So we could make a t-shirt.
We need something like that. Jeff, do we have any new merch for Andor coming?
I don't think so. Yeah, we haven't been doing like show specific.
Jason, that's cheating, and it totally doesn't count.
I get Andor.
He says I'm picking Andor. I know when Andor's gonna die.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's an easy. That bet is not going to win you anything.
Andor, Melchi, and Mon Mothma are all off the table. Doesn't count.
At the same time, he's not the last man standing because Mon Mothma lives the longest as of right now. Which, by the way,
Right now.
the one thing I want to see, and I don't love Easter eggs and any of that kind of crap, I need to see the flash forward somehow of Mon Mothma, like receiving the surrender from Masamita of like the Empire being surrendered to her under the tree on Chandrilla. Like there has to be a stinger of that. Like I need that for my life force to survive the world in which we are currently living. I needed it last time we talked about this conversation. I need it desperately more now. And I don't know how you work that in necessarily unless it is a like deep flash forward into like, post episode 6 because it's after like the Battle of Jakku and post episode 6. Like
that
post
would be a hard one to
Operation
stick in there, I think.
Yeah.
You could
like,
maybe do it if whichever characters are going to survive long term, it would have to be during a Marvel-like speech where you kind of zero in on the character and then you flash forward and you zero in and you flash forward and you get like just a flash or two of the few people who are going to survive, like right before Andor walks into that alley to go do whatever dirty deed he's going to do in Rogue One. You know,
right?
You could make was it all work.
It? Yeah,
you could make it work. Kind
was
of like
worth it? And then you show Luke blows up the Death Star. Leia gets the plans. Like Han is there. Mon Mothma does this. It feels a little cheesy as I'm saying it out loud, but like, was what they did worth it? Like,
was it worth
can
it?
You show
you have
Felicity.
Yeah, because I mean, they talk about that, in Rogue One, that we all did terrible things in service of believing this was going to get us somewhere, and if we just quit now, then what was it all for? Right? And there has to be, like there's the no one is listening episode in Andor, which ties directly into the end of Rogue One, where he says, "Do you think anyone's listening?" So there's got to be a way, because in the end, Star Wars is always about hope, right? So there has to be a way, even though we know this series is getting progressively darker and darker, and it doesn't end well for any of the individuals. In the end, what they did give everybody was hope. So I think
they have to win the little battles along the way, kind of thing.
Just the projecting the hope of the future. I don't know. What about like a post-credit scene?
Yeah,
at the very last episode,
as a stinger.
I think that would be lovely. Yeah. And Luthen's speech, JB, is very much like, what is it? Planting the tree to yield shade that you'll never see. It's something like that, right?
Burning my life for a sunrise I'll never see.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. It's very Cassian Andor. Like, as he like just says it so terribly. I was like, the name of the show is Andor. Pronounce the one name correctly. Like, it makes me crazy, Andor. It just drives me nuts. But yeah, I kind of need that, and I know it's cheesy, and I don't want to see a cameo clip show, but I think there's something about where this leads off, because it leads to such a bleak moment as a movie, but it unlocks all of this hope that comes later, and still ties to the Skywalkers as much as we'll never escape. Like, there's still the Mon Mothma piece of that, like post episode 6.
Well, she arranged Han and Leia's wedding, right?
Yeah, so, of course she did, because we gotta work her in everything now. It's the Ahsoka thing. Ahsoka's the glue, because we've like literally gone back with the glue, being like, where can I stick her? Darth Maul and Mon Mothma are secretly in the background of every minute of Star Wars, which good on them. I love them. I love all three of them. They're three of my favorite characters. Give us more. Like Tales of Mon Mothma is the next animated series after we do Underworld.
Tales of the Senate.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, Tales of the Senate.
I'm in. Okay, I'm on board with that. Yay.
Are you listening out there, the powers that be? I think you are, but
we said Bounty Hunters last time.
Lucasfilm Animation.
Yeah, done and done.
Yes.
I'm so excited
Tales
that
of the
that's going to be
Senate.
out on like May 4th too, because
that'd be good, because they've balanced it, right? Jedi and Empire, and now you have Underworld, so you've got to have you've got the underbelly of Coruscant, so now you have to have the tippity top, the cream of the crop, the ivory towers.
Tales of the Senate. We can get Senator Tucci. We could do like 6 mini episodes of like each one senator.
Oh, we gotta. If we can get Mothma, then we got to have a really bad senator. We've got to have the like the slimy one that just You're gonna get Masamita, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, I love him.
Yeah,
I love
that's
him.
true.
You're gonna get 2
I love
episodes
an
of
evil
the
personal
Slame of
assistant.
You're gonna
Masamita.
get a really annoying ET.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
That would be insane. It's like animated.
Thunderous applause for the death of Liberty. The ETs, woo! Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
JB, I don't think we're gonna see a Leia. I don't think we're gonna see a Tarkin either. Yeah, there you go, Sherry. You and Jeff are sharing a vote now over the ET senators. I yeah. I don't know what I hope there isn't like as much as I love my one idea. I don't want there to be like an Easter egg cameo parade or that kind of thing. It's not what I'm hoping for
yeah.
Andor. The
Sometimes
stuff
that
I really want to see is like more of season 1, where it's serious and dark and gritty and kind of hopeless, but also you
ends
must try.
on a, it won't end on quite the same down note, but because we know where it's going after that, which truly ends on a down note. But
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what.
But I can see that they did a hopeful sort of something speculation about the future, and then it ends with him walking into the alley.
Yeah,
and we know it's going to a dark place. Like you have a note, and
About ready
then
to
there
kill
we
somebody.
go. But
Yeah.
we have to go do something. We have to go do the dark and the dirty first.
Yeah,
So-
look, we got the F the Empire,
Mm,
and so we're gonna see that come to life. I think in the next 4 weeks, along with the Gorman massacre. I'm the Operation Panini Press, as I've been calling it. So that's going to be horrible. Like I just have to prepare yourself that like it's going to be the worst thing you've ever seen probably in a Star Wars, and it's just going to be almost benign, like the way that's going to be handled, like the way they used PowerPoints to take away your rights in season 1. It's going to feel like that. So it just like feels so yeah, it's too real. But yeah, I think I'm so ready for season 2. I think it's going to blow away season 1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 4 season 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because of the way they're breaking it down and everything. I think they're all going to be like each 3 episode arc is really going to be like they could have dropped those in the theater kind of thing.
Movie quality. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Which is why we're trying to figure out what to do with our watch-alongs.
We were talking about this before you came on.
Yeah, for everyone in the chat, would you like to see individual episodes watched on a few nights a week? Would you rather us start Thursday earlies and just watch for 2.5 straight? Because here's the thing: if they're 40-minute
episodes, it's going to be 2
episodes,
to 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's too much. I feel like that's a lot. And then
it's not. I mean, starting with the prequels, those were 220.
Yeah.
So
it's
when
rare
we've
we
done
watch
it,
movies on here though. We mostly watch TV.
It started with movies.
It did start with movies.
And so we've gone through that, and when there's downtime, we always revert to the movies. So we do 11 or so movie watch-alongs in a row sometimes, depending on what shows are available. So or what other thoughts we have, like coming up with things like the Summer of Snips and stuff like that, leading into something.
Yeah,
and then this obviously leading into season 2. So
yeah.
I kind of like the idea of 1 a day. I really do, but that's just because
I think we would go at least 2 a day, though. It's the thing.
Yeah, I like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh yeah, I had a thought of that too. We could do like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or
that's
Wednesday,
what
Thursday,
I want.
Wednesday,
I want
Thursday, Friday.
My vote right now is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but we're going to discuss it as a network and get back to everyone. Tell us what you like in the chat.
Yes.
And it's only a 4-week period, so if everyone hates it, it'll be over soon enough. It's like that kind of thing. But by the way, I'm falling behind on Daredevil because I can't keep up with anything at the moment. So we need to get back to our regular scheduled program. But now I've got to go watch everything that happened at CinemaCon. As I mentioned, the Megan trailer dropped. Oh man, Megan's back. And I will say this was something where I was actually right. I said that the plot for Megan 2 should be Terminator 2. Where the evil robot becomes the good robot and fights a new evil robot. And guess what the plot is? She's a good robot and she's going to fight a more evil robot. I'm so ready. And it looks so camp. And the first trailer, the teaser, was Pink Pony Club. And this one played Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again. They are leaning into the girls, the gays, and the camp. And she's wearing one of the costumes we're doing. And she has like 5 costumes in the trailer. One is a reinterpretation of her original dress. The one we're doing is her bright pink dress that looks like the sort of cyber suit. That's coming out later this year. So we guessed correctly on like what's going to get prominently featured, because
That's good.
damn, that
There
pink
you
dress
go.
looks amazing. So
Nice.
super excited about Megan. And then they dropped the Superman special look today as well, where he's at the Fortress of Solitude with a bunch of the robots healing him with the sun and everything. And Crypto is prominently featured. And of course, we're the official licensee for those Halloween costumes too. So I'm having a good day over here
That's good.
due to the CinemaCon. So yeah, considering everything else in the world sucks, I was like, I'll take it.
Take your wins. Yep. I'm glad somebody's getting a good day out of it.
Well, that was great.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's been terrible all around, but like CinemaCon was good. Yeah.
I was at WonderCon over the weekend. That was fun for the time I was there, as well as Season of the Force.
Did you meet anyone good?
WonderCon, I didn't do a ton of time. When I came in cosplay on Sunday, and I ran into some friends, but I didn't really see many people. I didn't do any panels. I did a panel on Friday, which was the Skywalker's trivia party, Star Wars trivia party, which was a lot of fun. They do a really good thing with handling that type of an event. Ended up winning a High Republic book as one of the raffle prizes.
Oh, which one?
That was fun. I forget what it's called. It's new, I believe. I think they got it during the presser that they were invited to for Season of the Force. And the authors were there hanging around in the park.
Cool.
Mike was very disappointed that he didn't get to run into him.
Yeah.
But it was timing, I believe. But so that was cool. I got more junk from Disneyland, including the swizzle sticks that are lightsabers. This one is the blue one, and it lights up like a legacy saber. And then if I can get it to turn off, there it goes. The light goes up and down, which is really fun to watch. And that Dave and I had talked, sort of brainstormed about ideas for a interview microphone, possibly at Natso in Japan and elsewhere. And one of the ideas was like the chopstick version of the lightsabers, which would be a lot thinner, but does also light up. And then I said, well, this would probably be the perfect thing. The little lav mic will be on the lightsaber. Yeah. So this one's a red one, and this one's Vader's. So
that's
really
a good one because it won't interfere with any green screen or anything if it's red, Yeah.
So I don't know if the light's better than blue, but maybe we'll switch between them. But I thought this would be a fun idea to pass that out to people, and instead of trying to hold up. I
love that.
I hate the little let's talk into the puffy ball thing that's been happening lately. I don't enjoy that at all. So I'm on board with the lightsaber.
This kind of is like a throwback to like a Bob Barker microphone.
Yeah, where you
from? The Price is Right, where it's long and he doesn't have to do a lot with it. It's kind of
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so that's the idea there. Also, I got this hat, even though it's not part of Season of the Force. It's got a nice picture of Vader and Imperial Cog on it, and then the bill on the top and the bottom is all Ralph McQuarrie concept art, which is amazing. There's a whole line of this type of stuff.
We don't see a lot of that.
Jumped out at me. So then it's new in Star Traders, at least at Disneyland. But that was a
weekend well spent. It sounds like.
Yeah, I bought more stuff than I needed to. I have the new Mythosaur mug back in the box over there from Oga's. That was not cheap, and tried some new drinks at Oga's, which were pretty tasty. So that's always fun when they add new things to the menu. And tried some oddball food, and they do weird things, but they usually turn out pretty well. But they like to incorporate sort of exotic things into the everyday items that they sell. But anyways. So I probably have a new cosplay for Japan. That was the one I wore in WonderCon over the weekend. So
I think it'll be a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I think so too. So I don't know how it is a deep cut, so it's gonna get a lot of funny stares, but we'll see. So, anyways, that was a great episode. I appreciate you guys joining me.
It was awesome. Thank you.
I want everybody to make sure we tune in for the finale next week. Yes, these are always enjoyable,
Yeah.
especially with new people.
Mhm.
Those
Thanks
old
for
guys,
having us.
they
Oh,
get
and don't
boring.
forget Saturday.
Oh yes.
Don't forget Saturday. We've got a new Celebration news desk. So Gary O'Toole and I will be talking. There's only 2 left before Celebration actually hits. So make sure you tune in. We're going to talk about what are we talking about? We've got the exclusives. We're doing the app. We're going to talk about the map of the floor. And a bunch of other recap stuff. So it's going to be a blast. We had a lot of fun last week talking to all the vendors. Oh my God, those vendors. Some of them are a hot mess. But it's going to be a good time. So
The
yeah,
weird
get me and Gary on
eclectic
Saturday.
list. Yeah.
Ugh.
And don't forget, we
Eclectic
are
is the
doing
word.
we are doing our not so virtual cantina in
Mhm.
Japan, and of course, it is sold out. Sold out very quickly, which is nice. And that whole event is sponsored by Hyperspace Props with a nice little code for anybody who wants to buy some really cool credits and other prop cosplay items. NSVC SE is the code, and you can get 10% off. So what's interesting is that we also will be offering what's called a Hyperspace ticket, which is a discounted ticket, half price. You get to come in and enjoy the bar, but you don't get the food or swag bag, but you can, meet all the guests and hang out for at least an hour or two, if not longer, depending on when you can get in. And it's all about people leaving and new people being able to enter. So that should be really cool. Get some extra people to be able to kind of see some of our guests, which is a really great list. But if you get anything signed, we have some official consigners, Twin Cities Comics and Elite Signatures in the UK. And we just added the big guns here, so to speak, to our list of guests. And if you are coming over and you maybe are going to be near the convention center and you're not sure where the hub is, we have our good friend Mike Delicard ready to escort you from the APA hotel lobby over to the hub across that little blue dotted line that I put on the map in the corner. And it's about a half a mile. And it should be a fun little time. You can walk with Mike and some other virtual Cantina members and come enjoy the fun. He'll be leaving the hotel lobby at 6:15, so that gives everybody plenty of time to make it to the hub before the event starts at 7.
All right.
So yeah, definitely, if you're coming to Japan,
it's almost here.
Yeah, I'm getting antsy. I had the weirdest like travel nightmare last night.
Oh,
Like I'm
those are the
starting to get
worst.
the anxiety is building, right?
Yep.
I've only flown international one time, and I had issues then. And this dream thing was just bizarre. Like the stuff I was going through on my way to get to like disembark. It was it was interesting. So hopefully what I dreamt will not come to fruition.
Get it all out of the way now.
Also, so talking about next week, we do have the final episode and a special guest. Nick
So
Benjamin
exciting.
will be on with Dave and Spencer, because I will be out next week. And it should be a great show, a great way to finish the season.
Yay.
Before we take a slight break during Celebration and then lead into season 2, however we decide to watch it.
Yep.
So
all the big stuff.
To be determined soon.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely be notified on the page. So yeah, once we figure that out. But other than that,
let's survive Celebration, and then immediately when we get back, everyone will find out about Andor, and then we'll talk May the 4th, and then we'll talk the summer, San Diego Comic-Con, and Texas, because it is. Texas is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one, I think. So a lot of us are going to be there as well. So if you can't make it to Japan, try to make it to Rebel Scum in Texas, and that should be a good time as well. We're going to have a nice event there, and there's some big announcements coming. So yeah, keep an eye out. All right. So from Mark and Sarah are good, lovely guests this week. I'm Jeff, if you didn't know. Spoiler alert. And One Way Out. I don't know what you say anymore.
Ooh,
Fuck
One Way
the
Out's a good
Empire.
one.
That's a good
F
one.
the Empire.
Yay for next week.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's coming.
F the
Another
Empire.
spoiler alert. All right, you guys have a great one.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.